August 17, 1943. Above Schweinfurt, Germany, the sky bristled with lethal intent. Hundreds of American B-17 flying fortresses faced a storm of anti-aircraft fire and Luftwaffe fighters.
This was the combined bomber offensive, a relentless Allied campaign to cripple Germany's war machine and break its will to fight.
By day, the U.S. 8th and 15th Air Forces flew daring precision raids. Their weapon, the B-17 Flying Fortress and the B-24 Liberator.
Their targets were vital industrial complexes, aircraft factories, ball-bearing plants, oil refineries, and marshalling yards. A direct assault on Germany's ability to wage war. These heavy bombers often flew in tight, staggered formations, known as the combat box, for mutual defensive fire against intercepting fighters. Each 10-man crew faced freezing temperatures, oxygen deprivation, and the constant threat of enemy attack for hours on end, deep inside hostile territory. By night, Bomber Command of the Royal Air Force took to the skies. Their strategy was different: area bombing, targeting entire cities. The Avro Lancaster and Handley Page Halifax, larger and carrying heavier bomb loads, were the workhorses of the night offensive.
Navigating across blacked-out Europe at night was a perilous art, relying on complex radio aids, pathfinders, and sheer courage.
Early in the war, the Ruhr Valley, Germany's industrial heartland, became a primary target. Its factories churned out tanks, artillery, and munitions.
But the Germans were not defenseless. The Luftwaffe's formidable fighter force, including the Messerschmitt Bf 109 and Focke-Wulf FW-190, rose to meet them.
Below, a deadly curtain of anti-aircraft fire, flak, illuminated the sky. Thousands of guns poured shells into the bomber streams, shredding wings and fuselage.
For American daylight missions, the tide turned with the arrival of long-range escort fighters like the P-51 Mustang, capable of accompanying bombers all the way to their targets.
This aerial guardian changed the calculus of air combat, inflicting heavy losses on the Luftwaffe and gradually wresting control of the skies from Germany. In July 1943, Operation Gomorrah unleashed firestorms on Hamburg. Weeks of British and American raids devastated the city, killing tens of thousands. The scale of destruction was unprecedented. Entire districts vanished, replaced by ruins and rubble. Civilians bore the brunt of this relentless aerial assault. The raids on Schweinfurt's ball-bearing plants in 1943 were among the costliest. Crews called it Black Thursday, with 60 B-17s lost on one mission alone. Such heavy losses sparked fierce debate about the efficacy and morality of the bombing strategy, even as missions continued. By 1944, the focus shifted dramatically to Germany's oil supply. Synthetic fuel plants like Leuna and Politz became priority targets. These attacks severely hampered the Luftwaffe and Panzer divisions, starving them of the fuel needed to operate and defend the Reich. American forces employed the Norden bomb sight, a complex and highly classified device designed for pinpoint accuracy from high altitudes. British night bombers relied on radar systems like oboe and H2S to locate targets through cloud cover and darkness, evolving their tactics over the war. Electronic countermeasures, chaff, and diversionary raids were used to confuse German radar and air defenses, a silent war fought in the electromagnetic spectrum. Between 1943 and 1944, Bomber Command launched the Battle of Berlin, a sustained campaign intended to demoralize the German capital. Despite its psychological impact, the Battle of Berlin proved costly, with hundreds of Lancasters and Halifaxes shot down over the heavily defended city. As the Allied noose tightened, Germany retaliated with V-1 flying bombs and V-2 rockets, targeting London and Antwerp. Allied bombers were tasked with Operation Crossbow, systematically attacking V-weapons launch sites and production facilities across Europe. Before D-Day in June 1944, the strategic bomber forces turned their immense power to supporting the invasion, isolating battlefields and destroying railway lines. Bomb loads grew exponentially. The British introduced the 4,000-pound cookie or blockbuster bomb, designed to destroy roofs and allow incendiaries to ignite. Incendiary bombs, often dropped in vast quantities, were key to creating the firestorms that engulfed cities like Dresden and Pforzheim. In February 1945, the bombing of Dresden remains one of the most controversial acts of the war, generating intense heat and massive civilian deaths. Among the most audacious raids was Operation Chastise in May 1943, the dam busters attacking the Möhne and Ader dams with specially designed bouncing bombs. While not a decisive blow on its own, the relentless bombing undoubtedly strained German morale and diverted vast resources to air defense. Millions of Germans were involved in air defense, manning flak guns, building bunkers, clearing rubble, and constantly repairing infrastructure. Over 160,000 Allied airmen perished in the European theater. They flew over 1.5 million sorties and dropped nearly 2.7 million tons of bombs. By April 1945, Germany's industrial capacity was shattered, its cities in ruins, and its air force virtually non-existent. The strategic bombing campaign remains a complex, controversial chapter of World War II, its effectiveness still debated by historians. But one undeniable truth emerged from the ashes. It brought the war to Germany's doorstep, a brutal, costly, and ultimately decisive aspect of Allied victory.